Hey, what's up, guys? Welcome to HeadKick Audio episode number 5. I am your host, Steve the Dick, and with me, as always, is my co-host.
What's up, everybody? It's fucking Crazy Jay. What's up, y'all?
How you doing, man?
Other than my fucking big-ass swollen kneecap, dude, I am fan-fucking-tastic.
Ouch! So, today is actually, we normally record this podcast on Friday, but I had some stuff I had to take care of, so watching the fights this weekend was a little bit difficult, and Jonathan's actually in his hometown of Sierra Vista, so we're actually doing this long distance, so we do it with our radio show, so we're kind of used to it now, but, usually we're in the same place in the studio getting it done, but we got to do what we got to do. So let's go ahead and get started because we got a lot to cover, man.
Oh yeah,
we had Invicta had their whole tournament play out. It was the strawweight tournament where they had Brianna Van Buren claim the title via submission in the final over UFC veteran Kaylin Curran. So I was able to watch a little bit of this. Unfortunately, I had to leave while it was still going on. So I didn't get to watch the whole thing. But they had some UFC vets throughout this entire tournament. They had Juliana Lima, Danielle Taylor, sorry. And, Kaylin Curran. So had some, this was a pretty legit tournament. But ultimately, Brianna gets the belt there. I think there was a couple fights that had nothing to do with the tournament, or was it all tournament? I thought there was like reserve bouts that were going to go for the full 3 rounds. I guess not. So, yeah. Anyways, congratulations to Brianna Van Buren collecting a belt. Good for her. She looked pretty good from the one fight I got to see. I think I saw her fight over Manjit Kolikar. So she looked good. I mean, it was a night of tough ladies. Let's just put it to you that way. So I wasn't sure who was going to come out on top. Just because you've fought in the UFC doesn't mean that you're automatically going to win this damn thing. But she proved to be the toughest girl out there. So there we go. I don't know what's going on with this mic. I apologize for that.
Yeah, it's fucking crazy though to see. You have to fight at least like 3 or 4 times, depending on what's going on. That's fucking crazy. So yeah, kudos to Brianna Van Buren.
Well, and see what Shannon Knapp and Invicta were doing with this tournament is, I think they went about this pretty brilliantly. They had reserve bouts. The opening rounds, the semifinals, and all the way up to the finals. I think the finals was actually a full 5-round affair. It didn't last that long. So,
yeah.
But all of their bouts were 5 minutes, and so you have 5 minutes to, either get the win or just be as dominant as possible to get to the 10-9 or the 10-8 scorecard.
Yeah.
So, actually, I'm going to go back and watch this because, I mean, all the bouts are like 5 minutes. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I could probably get through this card in a couple beers. So I'm actually looking forward to that. I also got to rewatch this Bellator. What are they calling it? Bellator Europe 2?
Yeah.
Let's go ahead and switch to that one, John. So this was in Birmingham, England. Man. This is going to be another one of those where it's not going to take very long to watch these fights. Like I said, a couple beers deep, and I'll be done with it. But you had Raymond Daniels defeat Wilker Barros via knockout. Round 1, pretty late in the round 1, as a matter of fact, 4:36. Pedro Carvalho defeats Derek Campos, which Derek Campos is always game, but he... Carvalho gets a knockout round 1, only 2 minutes in. So that's a heartbreaker because Derek Campos, he always brings it. I like watching that dude fight. So it's going to be a bummer to watch this one knowing that he goes out.
Yeah.
And just a crazy ass sequence. Fabian Edwards defeats Falco Neto. Go find the highlight for this motherfucker, dude. That shit was sick. And then Brent Primus, however you want to say it, he gets the Gogo Plata. That is like pretty fucking rare. I don't know.
That's almost like seeing a fucking unicorn, right? Nobody ever really gets those off too much, do they?
Yeah, no. I mean, I've seen some on the regional circuits, but usually when you get to the, the higher level fights, your Bellators, UFCs, Prides, whatever. I mean, I think I saw one in Pride when Nick Diaz subbed, what's the karate Fireball kid? Is it the Fireball kid? Anyway, I forget his name. It's been so long since I've seen him fight. I don't even remember his name. God damn it. But yeah, I mean, I've seen it, but I mean, it doesn't happen. It's like the Omi Plata. Any type of Plata out there that you don't get to see those too often. So I actually got to see that whole fight because it was only a minute 20, so it was basically the highlights. And yeah, so I was like, holy shit, is that what I think it is? So that was pretty crazy. Also, before I forget, because we know how fucking forgetful I am, again, as per usual, at the end of this episode, I'm going to put up an interview that me and Crazy J did with Harvey Park, LFA's new lightweight champion. He was able to give us a couple minutes of his time. It was a fucking great interview. And he was also able to give us a little bit extra that we're going to put on our Patreon. That's right, we are going to do a Patreon. So that's where you can give us money to bring you the best show possible. And you're not just giving us money, we're giving you shit for it. So, not like, shit, but...
Yeah, I think we have some really disappointed people if they ended up just getting shit.
The brown bag special?
Fuck yeah.
So that just reminds me of all those fucking movies where the kids, they go take the shit in the brown bag and then they set it on fire and then knock on the doorbell and run away and then watch the guy step in all the shit. That's good stuff. But we're not going to do that to you. We're definitely not going to do that to you. We got some cool perks that we're going to set up in our tiers. So I think we're going to go like a 2, 5, and 10. So whatever you can afford. Look, it just helps us out because we've got a lunch. We got a lot of shit. We got a lot of shit that we're gonna bring to you guys, but some of it's gonna, it's gonna cost money. And we both have jobs, but we also have wives and children, and expenses, mortgages and stuff. So it kind of gets tough to put this whole thing together. So luckily, I was able to, get this thing started with the equipment that I had. But we eventually want to do some video. We want to do just a whole bunch of shit. So, and once we start getting that, we'll go ahead and fill you in on what all that is. But let's get to the fights that we did watch, okay? So, LFA, which one was a 65, right?
Yep, LFA 65.
From the Dobson Arena in Vail, Colorado, bro. Did you see the elevation? Like 8,000 feet, bro.
Yeah, they were talking about that for a little while, and they're like, oh, it's hard trying to train for this. And I'm like, what? Like, how can it be hard to train for that? I mean...
It's elevation, bro. The oxygen's a lot different up there, man.
Oh,
it's
shit.
Crazy.
I didn't know that there was that much oxygen level change to change the game up a little bit. That's fucking crazy.
It's a lot different, but I can tell you this right now. Every single fighter that came onto this card, they were prepared for that elevation. It didn't seem like any of these fights were too slow, except for... I think there might have been one. No, I don't think there was. Yeah, you had a third round submission. You had a decision, one fight that went 44 seconds, and then one fight that went 3:17. So basically everybody came in tip-top shape. It was a fun card, man. Like from top to bottom, LFA just keeps doing this to us, man. They keep giving us good shit. I like it. They need to keep that shit up.
Look, yeah, they do.
All right, so let's get into LFA 65. We had Adam Martinez defeat Corey Galloway via submission, the guillotine choke in round 3. There goes my mic again. Hold on. All right, am I back? Hello, can you hear me? Yeah, I'm back. Okay, cool. I don't know what's going on here.
Some weird technical difficulties going on there, huh?
Man, it's been like this for a while. I don't know if it's the mic, if it's the cable. I don't know what it is. Anyways, we'll make do. So if I keep cutting out, we'll just roll with it. Yeah. So Martinez subs Galloway round 3. Pretty fun fight, wouldn't you say, Crazy Jay?
Oh yeah, it was a really fun fight. I like the leg kicks that Martinez was given. This dude had a crazy fucking chin. Galloway got him with a couple of combos and got him with a couple of knees, and he just wouldn't fucking go down. I think that's why they called him Mini Hunt, because I guess he reminds people a lot of Mark Hunt from the UFC.
That's right, buddy. That's right. What is the deal? I disappeared again. All right, I'm back. I don't know what's going on here, but we'll just keep rolling. Yeah, I was actually surprised to see him on the opening bout, as usually they have him higher on the card, just based off his fight style. It's very, very pleasing to the eye. So it was good. I enjoyed it. Up next, we had 2 former training partners, Adam Stroup. How did they say that? Stroup. Okay, so Adam Stroup and Haywood Charles. This was a interesting fight, to say the least. I was very confused as to what Haywood's game plan was. And
yeah, to me it looked like he was trying to channel his inner Anderson Silva with all the taunting that motherfucker was doing. Jeez, that did not help whatsoever.
Well, all it was doing was pissing Adam off, and Adam was coming with knees, kicks to the body, and his elbows from the clinch. Those were something else. I'm really surprised that the fight didn't get stopped. But Haywood showing that he's durable, at least. If that's one thing that you're gonna take away from this, is we know that he's durable and he could take a shot. But at the same time, if your game plan is solely based on getting it to the floor, I mean, didn't he pull guard?
Yeah, I think the first time he tried to get Stroup down, he jumped on him and put him in guard and then pulled him. And I was like, I mean, I'm not a whole lot, I guess, learned, if you will, in the jiu-jitsu world of stuff. But I was like, why the fuck would you do that? I didn't understand what he was doing.
I like your technical breakdown. The learned of the jiu-jitsu stuff. That's very technical. That's a high level show that we're bringing here at HeadKick Audio. Okay, so I mean we're bringing the heat, okay, and stuff. So yeah, but Adam looked pretty good. I'd say definitely over the course of 3 rounds, 30-27. I can go to sleep and not have to worry about that decision. I think he gets that all day. So good for him. Pauline Macias defeats Sarah Schell via unanimous decision. 29-28, 30-27 sprinkled in there. What did you think about these girls right here?
Dude, they fucking brought it, man. What I thought was really cool was Pauline, I guess, was either training partners or friends with Ronda Rousey. And I guess they did a bunch of shit, with the judo, the judo tournaments and stuff. So I was expecting some of that, but not really. And dude, when she kept fucking judo throwing her, and that shit was quick, I was like, what the hell? Shit, this was awesome. I was at a loss for words. I couldn't even fucking really describe except for just saying, fuck.
Right? So, a pretty fun fight. I mean, I think that, when females fight, they still have that mentality where they have to bring it because, I don't know, they think that people don't find women's MMA interesting or, aren't supportive or whatever, or just don't know enough about it. So, I do hear quite often that the girl fights are usually the best fights on the card, but that's because they always come with something to prove. And I just think it's completely different. I just think girls have a level of intensity, they can. It's a lot harder to get like a one-punch KO for the females, and that's not saying that it doesn't happen, because I have seen it. You want to see a girl fall face first, you have to look no further than the last women's featherweight title fight in the UFC. I mean, Amanda she killed Cyborg. So, I mean, women, they do have the power, but especially the younger weight classes, like it's a little bit tougher, and I don't know if that's due to, women can just take shots better, or, if some women are stronger than others. It doesn't matter. Still, I'm a fan of MMA. It doesn't need to be women's, men's. It don't fucking matter. MMA's, I don't need to include the W there. So, but speaking of W's, Pauline gets the win here. So good for her. Next up, we had Matt Jones defeating Yusuf Zalal via split decision. Now, how did you see this fight? Because I didn't see it as a split decision. I thought Matt Jones clearly won the first couple of rounds, right?
Yeah, I had... maybe I scored it wrong myself. I don't know.
There is no wrong scoring. It's all
for some reason, I had Yusuf winning that fight 2-1.
Interesting.
But I mean, I think that was the fight that was like, I don't think that went to the ground at all. I think it was just a lot of standing and banging and combos and elbows. And
well, there was a lot of clinch work and
clinches
wrestling up against the cage.
Yeah, and to me personally, I think Yusuf, I think he was doing a little bit more work.
Okay, well maybe I was a little bit too involved in the social media or the cervezas. It is Cinco de Mayo weekend. Which, speaking of which, happy Cinco de Mayo. Us Americanos, we throw down. There's going to be, I'm sure, like some chips and salsa in my future. At the very least. I'm not a huge Cinco de Mayo celebrator, but I guess any chance Americans get to drink beer and just, hey, it's a holiday, they're going to do it. So,
hey, that's the American way.
Yeah, so if you celebrate Happy Cinco de Mayo, de Mayo.
Someone's already started,
right? So fuck, dude, I drank so much last night. I didn't even know which way was up. Okay, and your co-main event, I don't know. I didn't like this fight. Joe Anderson Brito defeats Jose Mariscal via knockout in 44 seconds. There's a lot more to this fight than what the result reads on my screen here. There was a blatant cup shot, and the guy who committed the foul was still like, I like it when if they know they hit the cup, they're like, oh shit, sorry, and they don't even wait for the ref to break it up. You know what I mean? They stop the action themselves. Try to apologize. It's really respectful the way that they go about it. This Brito or Joe Anderson. I'm going to say Joe Anderson because I don't know if it's Brito or Burrito or whatever.
I called him Burrito. I don't know.
So, I mean, I just kind of got the feeling that he was taking advantage of the fact that, the foul was landed. And, there was a language barrier between the ref and the fighter. And so when the ref was telling him, hey, you kicked this guy in the nuts, you need to, control your weapons better, he kind of looked like, fucking a deer in the headlights. He didn't know what the fuck that guy was saying.
Yeah, I even heard the commentating team say, like, dude, he has no idea what you're saying.
Yeah, so it's very unfortunate. And I don't know. I'm really hoping that this isn't the case, but I kind of get the feeling that this guy didn't give a fuck. You know what I mean? And like I said, I really hope not, because I don't like. Oh, there I go. I fucking disappeared again. I don't like. Thinking poorly of fighters, especially since they're essentially putting their lives on the line for our entertainment, and so that we can do what we do here. But I just couldn't shake the feeling that I was getting, so I don't know. We'll have to see in his next fight if I feel any different about the guy. But I don't know. It's just one of those things. But congratulations on the knockout. You know, he put the other guy to sleep. You can't take that away from him. Let's hope I was wrong there. I'm gonna go ahead and move on to the main event. This was a flyweight affair, and I'm really, really happy that LFA is still doing the flyweights. I think everybody should. I really do, because I enjoy the flyweight division a lot. But you had Joby Sanchez, a UFC veteran, taking on Brandon Royval, who's actually competed for the flyweight title in LFA. Pretty gangster-ass fucking fighter, that Royval, man.
Yeah, that was a really, really good fight. I liked how fast they were both striking. And it wasn't like they were just throwing haymakers and hopefully something would hit. But I mean, they were doing their best, trying to make calculated shots and make sure they get counted. And I liked that takedown that Brandon had got. I forgot which round it was in. But
the fight was only one round.
Oh, yeah, because I can't fucking read. Hey, someone started early over here, too, my friend.
Oh,
so yeah, that takedown that he had done, that was pretty good. And then once he got that takedown, went to the armbar, that was amazing.
Yeah, some pretty slick groundwork there. Like I said, Ravel's fought for the title in LFA, so he's no slouch. You don't get to the big fights, being a tomato can. So, but I really liked Brandon's whole demeanor this entire fight. Kind of reminded me a little bit of Diaz. He's just a flyweight Diaz. I don't know, little gangster.
Yeah,
little gangster. Yeah, a little gangster, a little swag. So that was fun. LFA just keeps on putting out these fun cards. You know what I mean? They don't have to be like firecrackers every fight, but you kind of get a little bit of everything with LFA. So I enjoy it. I enjoy covering it. So I just can't wait till they come back to Arizona.
Oh, I know, dude. That would be so fucking cool if they come down here again.
Yeah. We'll be at that shit for sure. All right, now UFC Ottawa, or UFC on ESPN Plus, 89 and a half. I like the fact that they're going with the, just wherever it's at. It's in Ottawa. Okay, UFC Ottawa. I like that.
Yeah, that's how I started taking down all my notes whenever we do UFC. It's always like UFC in whatever city they're in, because I ain't got enough room on my paper for all that crap, because I take it all up with my other chicken scratches.
For really though, your chicken scratch is just that, chicken scratch.
Fuck yeah, it is. Well, I've got to write fast or I'll miss something.
All right, so check this out. What we did here at HeadKick Audio is we did a picks battle with the Protect Your Neck podcast, and it's something we initiated. I don't think that excuse me, PYN was even knowing it was coming, but excuse me. Nonetheless, we did it anyway, and we got our butts kicked. Dan Tom, the best breakdowner there is. Go check out the Protect Your Neck podcast. He's been a guest, so if you want to hear his interview, I think that was episode 2, 3. I wish I'd have been a little bit more prepared for that shout out.
Believe it was 3.
But anyways, his breakdown and analysis, and just overall, his podcast is top notch. I really enjoy it. I listen to him every week, usually Friday morning before the fights. So, but like I said, we went to war and we ended up losing. 6 out of our picks won, and 9 out of his won. So, yeah, better luck next time. We'll try this again. I actually kind of enjoyed it, although it would have been a lot more fun to be doing it live, keeping track of this thing, because like I said, I was over at a wake. So, getting my drink on, still kind of feeling it, you know what I'm saying? So, but let's go ahead and get down to this UFC Ottawa. For the most part, it was the fights were all right. You know what I mean? They're again, when you're how many fights was this? Like 13 deep?
Yeah.
Yeah, so I think in 13 fights you're probably going to get a little bit of everything. I think though there was like no groin strikes. I don't think there was any groin strikes, and I also don't recall an eye poke.
So yeah, I don't remember that. I don't remember anything either.
I mean, I know there was eye pokes, but there was no ref interference, I guess. There was an eye poke. The fighter acknowledged it. The other fighter acknowledged that, he poked the other guy in the eye, and they kind of touched gloves or whatever. So, yeah, I don't know what was so different about Ottawa, but that was enjoyable. Not having the action stop due to groin strikes or eye pokes. I'm always down for that. You know what I mean? Although that does give you time to, go hit the throne in the baño. Ooh, español.
Oh, yeah.
Or, go grab a beer, go grab some chips, whatever you're doing. But I think a lot of these fights, they were going to go the distance. I don't think that I had a lot of picks ending before the final bell. So it was a long affair, but for the most part, it was still pretty entertaining. So Mitch Gagnon opened up the preliminary card, fighting UFC newcomer Cole Smith. Gagnon has not fought since like 2016, I think.
Yeah.
So he's fought. He fought Renan Barão when Renan Barão was, at the top of his game. I think. In between the TJ fights. So it's not like the downfall of Renan Barão. But I thought Gagnon was gonna use his experience in this fight, especially taking on a newcomer. But I mean, after a couple years off of competition, a couple surgeries, I think that his new knees got tested. So
yeah,
it was basically like debutee versus debutee here, if you will. And Smith gets the decision in what was, I don't know, like it was not boring, but you could tell Mitch was still like trying to find his rhythm. You know what I mean? Trying to get the gears to go, and I just don't think that he was misfiring. In all honesty.
Yeah, I think whenever he tried to do something, Smith just had an answer for it.
Well, yeah. And then in the third round, or in between the second and third round, his corner's telling him, you need to fucking finish. You need to finish this fight. Mm-hmm. And he comes out guns blazing, fucking, hits Cole with the left, gets him down on the fence, trying to lock in a submission there, and I think ultimately gassed himself out. Tables were turned, and yeah. He made it to the final bell. He doesn't get finished, but the UFC return for Mitch Gagnon does not go his way, and Cole Smith picks up a W in his Octagon debut. So good for him.
And I wanted to run some by you real quick because there was two things that I noticed with the first two fights.
And what's that?
This mouthpiece situation. Is the ref supposed? Because to our listeners, I'm still kind of like a baby coming to the UFC and MMA stuff and all that, so I'm not too familiar with all the rules and stuff that they have, but I'm getting there. This one thing is this fucking mouthpiece, because with the Cole Smith and Mitch Gagnon fight. Going into the heavyweight fight with Arjan Bueller and Juan Adams, in the Juan Adams fight, I believe it was him that lost his mouthpiece. And the corner, you can clearly hear Arjan's corner yelling, "Hit him in the face! He has no mouthpiece!" Wouldn't the ref hear that and be like, "Oh shit, maybe I should give him his fucking mouthpiece back," and stop the fight for a second and then just leave him in the same position and then restart?
Well, it's tough for a ref to intervene. You got to find the right time. You have to find the mouthpiece, but you have to also keep an eye on the action. Refs don't have an easy job, as we all know. And then, when they make the wrong call, they get bashed for it. So dude, being a ref isn't fucking easy. And the whole mouthpiece situation, it's very simple. Keep it in your mouth. I mean, I don't think that I would, probably go up to a UFC fighter and tell him, hey, keep it in your mouth, because he won't know what the fuck you're talking about. And then there's a potential, waking up in a hospital, I'm sure. But
because someone will finally fight you.
right? Oh, I'll fight him. I'll fight Juan Adams right now. I'll get squished like a bug, but I'll do it. I ain't scared of nobody. But all bullshit aside, yeah, I think that's... And... if the corners want to take advantage and the fighters want to take advantage of the other one not having a mouthpiece, it's fair game. It's a fight, dude. You know what I mean? So, do I think that that's cool? No, I don't. I think that if I was fighting somebody in a cage for money and I hit the guy hard enough to where his mouthpiece fell out, I'd be like, hey, dude, pick up your fucking mouthpiece. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I would be that guy where I'd stop. You know what I mean? Because I wouldn't want any excuses as to why I beat you. I wouldn't want to give myself any advantage whatsoever. You know what I mean? So I don't know why the corner is... Like I said, I don't know. They were trying to take an advantage. They were trying to take advantage of a situation. And, I guess they are allowed to, but... Come on, guys. Knock that shit off. I frown upon that, sir. So, but now that you bring up Juan Adams versus Ahan Bular, I thought Juan Adams was going to come in here and, take care of business and just get it done. But he did not. Big guy. I think he's like 6'5". Cuts to make the 266-pound limit. I believe he put out a tweet saying that he watched a Hot Pocket commercial and was thoroughly aroused. So, yes, and we retweeted that. You can find that on our Twitter page. So I like the character. I like, this guy as a person. But there are some things that he needs to shore up. But he did, however. Now, hear me out, guys. Juan Adams, he's got beef with that Hardy gentleman over there getting some, UFC co-headlining spots because he was in the NFL and he's got a checkered past and all this shit. Well, I'll tell you what, Juan Adams might be the guy to fight Hardy next. I know he lost and Hardy's coming off of a win, but Hardy's now 4-1. In professional competition, and he hasn't really been tested. So I think having a guy like Juan Adams fight him next is very appropriate. And then we get to see, two big heavyweights, that can put up with each other's size and power, and I think it'd be a lot of fun. Plus, there's some animosity there. I think this fight would sell pretty good. So I'm not saying fucking co-headline a pay-per-view or anything like that, but I think you could probably find a decent fight night or, maybe International Fight Week, something like that. These guys could be put on a prominent place on the card, and it would do really well for wherever they end up going. So I can definitely see the UFC taking advantage of, a Juan Adams win or loss here. I had a feeling that the loser was going to end up fighting Hardy anyway, so... So this is just it just makes sense. If any of that made sense, then we should be good. I think everybody would understand that, right? I don't know. Right. But yeah, it was we'll just go ahead and move on because Matt Siles defeats Kyle Nelson via submission, arm triangle choke in round number 3. I thought Nelson was going to win this fight. Turns out, no. He had to go through a bunch of adversity only to tap out. So, unfortunately, my picks got off to a strong 0-3. So, on the flip side of the coin, there was a lot of picks here where us and Dan Tom, we had the same pick and we lost anyway. So, sometimes it makes me feel good, but for the most part, I was not feeling too good this entire evening. But Matt Siles, I think he was Dana White's Contender Series. I think that's where I seen him fight. he looked pretty good, man. This Nelson was like I said, he was like a bug that wouldn't go away. You know, that fucking like that gnat that just flies around your fucking head while you're trying to eat at a park or something.
Yep.
I don't know why I'm using that as an example, but anyway, yeah, he wouldn't go away. Pretty tough guy. I'm not sure. I think he might have been. This might have been his second UFC fight. Don't quote me on any of this because I don't have notes, as you cannot see, because we don't have any video going on yet. We working on it though. We working on it.
Eventually we will.
Eventually. I'm gonna take a drink of some water right here.
Yeah, I really liked how Matt Sales. He was really good with his ground and pound. Didn't let up. And I really liked how he got to that finish, how he went for the takedown into the full mount, then went side control, and then went ahead and subbed him.
Yeah, he was looking pretty good, and it seemed like Nelson was comfortable in the ground exchanges, unless he got to the ground via, a punch. But it seemed like that's where he wanted to get the fight. If it seemed like he was probably going to be more comfortable on the ground, but ultimately gets up there. So tough luck, better luck next time, man. I just want to get to this Nordine Taleb, man. He fought Kyle Prepolek. I don't know if I'm Prepolak. It sounds like Prepolak. It sounds like a heartburn medicine. Does it not?
Yeah.
Anyways, Nordine looked fucking huge compared to... I'm just going to call him Kyle. Because if I say Preptolek or Prepolek, I'm just going to get fucking... Prilosec. God. I'm going with Prilosec now. Yeah, I'm going to go with Prilosec. Okay, so Nordine Taleb, dude, he just looked fucking massive compared to Prilosec. And his kicks, bro. Like, there's no tell. You don't know when he's going to fucking throw these kicks. He releases them so fucking fast. And, dude, they land with, like, a fucking vengeance, bro. Like, he was trying to kick Prilosec's leg off. Okay.
Well, shit. The way how swollen my knee was, I wanted him to kick my knee so the swelling would go away. Or maybe he would just take my knee off because,
yes,
dude, those are some hard ass fucking hits, man.
Yeah, those kicks were, and just the sound, the smack, dude. I heard it, sitting from my couch. I can't even imagine what it sounded like live. And this card actually had some pretty decent kicks. There was kicks all around here. So, but yeah, Nordine Taleb, he was on the Ultimate Fighter, Canada versus Australia. I believe he was on the house with, Elias Theodoro and the current champ, Whitaker. I don't know how many fighters are still around from that season, but I think that was the house. I think they were all on there together. Unless I'm just getting my Ultimate Fighters confused because, they've had a million of them. And, yeah, so. But Taleb looked fucking awesome, looked jacked. And I think he's like 35, 36, so he's not exactly young. And he looked better than ever, man.
Yeah, he did.
So I was just really blown away with those kicks. Plus, I like the guy. You know what I mean? We're not like, legit media or nothing, so we're allowed to have people that we like and people that we dislike. Fight me, fucking fight me if you have a problem with that. But yeah, so Nordine Taleb, 30-27s all around. I agree. I don't have...
Yeah, I definitely agree with that.
I didn't have Prilosec taking around, much less like a minute of that fight. I think he may have been making his UFC debut. And he looked very undersized. So I don't know if Nordine is just a giant for the welterweight division or if Prilosec is probably just like a normal 55er because the fucking size disparity was ridiculous.
Yeah, it was.
So it literally looked like a middleweight fighting a lightweight. That's just to give you an idea of what this looked like. it looked like a 3-weight class difference, not, you know, 2 guys that both made 170 the day before. That's just fucking nuts. So, but we got to move on. Vince Morales defeats Amen Zahabi? Or is it, hey, man?
It's a hobby.
Hey, man, it's a hobby. Fuck. Yes, I like it. I like it a lot. And if you don't, you know what you can do. I think both of HeadKick Audio and the Protect Your Neck podcast picked Zahabi to win this one. And we were wrong. It's a hobby. Yeah, he was making a hobby of walking backwards too much. You know, focused more on defense rather than offense. It really seemed like a lot of what he was throwing wasn't landing. So, and unfortunately, the name Zahabi, I think I probably just went to that because I haven't seen, you know, anything from Vince Morales that showed me that he was going to win this fight, and ultimately he proved me wrong. So congratulations for Vince there, getting a win over a name. Now, the name is what is important here, because Zahabi, that's TriStar. Okay, that's Firas Zahabi. He's the head coach over there. I mean, he was George's coach. He was Rory's coach, or is Rory's coach, I should say. So I mean, he's got some killers in his gym. So, and being a Zahabi, you know, you would think that this guy would have the skills to match the name, but like I said, unfortunately, he didn't, and he fell short. And I believe he was also making his UFC debut, if I'm not mistaken. Am I mistaken, or am I correct?
I believe you're correct. I think there was a couple of people on here that were making their UFC debuts. I think.
Okay. Well,
now you got me second guessing.
Right? Well, see, I think I think maybe it's time for Steve to take some fucking notes, buddy. You know, I think Dan Tom was right. I need to put a little bit more emphasis on my leg work, and so that I don't sound stupid. But yeah. Moving on, Macy Chasson. She defeats Sarah Moraz. More ass. Oh, I'm loving these last names, man. More ass. It's a hobby.
Oh shit, man.
Oh man, we're gonna get in trouble. Anyways, Macy Chasson from Lafayette, Louisiana. I figured this would be something to mention, at least for the Davises. She's from Lafayette, Louisiana, but she trains out of, I think it's like something Texas.
Yeah, she's from Lafayette and she trains in Dallas.
Dallas? Okay.
Yeah.
So I was like, ooh, this has Davis written all over it. So
yeah, I picked her to win the fight anyway, just because. You know,
I have yet to pick against her. I've yet to pick against her. When she was in the Ultimate Fighter, immediately I was like, "Yep, she's gonna fucking win it." She's a fucking animal, man, and she always looks like she's going to fucking murder somebody. I love the intensity.
Well, speaking of murdering and intensity, when I heard what Sarah Morris, her nickname is called Cheesecake. That made me want to be really intense and murder some fucking cheesecake after they said that, because, you know, I'm a big old fat ass. So.
Well, I don't think you have to be a big old fat ass to enjoy some cheesecake, and I think more ass would agree. Okay? Yeah, I think it's a very fitting nickname, and I liked her little wave. She was super cute with, like, her little wave. Like, hey, yeah, I'm about to fucking get in a cage fight with another person. Hi.
Yeah,
fucking adorable.
I was watching the fight with a buddy of mine that came over to hang out for a bit, and as soon as he saw her walking out waving, he was like, "Dude, she's gonna die." And yeah, she pretty much.
She almost did.
Much got boned.
Yeah, she almost did. Macy Chasson. She came in a little bit over aggressive in the opening frame and was literally put on her ass like in the first 10, 15 seconds. But towards the end of the round was able to reverse the position and just fucking throw some nasty ground and pound like you don't really get to see from women. So like I said, dude, this chick is going to be something in the UFC. I do, however, okay, she almost didn't make weight. She was the only fighter on the card that needed extra time. She had to cut 1 pound more, and they gave her an hour to do it. So she made 136, but goddamn, by the skin of her teeth, bro. And remember, she won the Ultimate Fighter featherweight house. You know what I mean? So she fights at featherweight before, until after she won the contract. But yeah, so super fucking scary. Hopefully she can, tighten that up a little bit before her next fight and maybe get the weight cut started a little sooner if she's going to continue at bantamweight. But I mean, dude, she's a beast at either fucking weight. It really doesn't matter. So at least she has featherweight in her back pocket if she takes a couple losses. But dude, I don't see that anytime soon.
Yeah, after that performance, I don't see that happening either.
Well, it's just all of her performances so far, dude. All she does is fucking finish. That's all she does. You know what I mean? She beats the living shit out of other girls. She makes some fucking money doing it.
Yeah.
So I was thoroughly impressed, and I was actually as impressed as I was with Chasson's performance. I was equally impressed with Moras's durability, man. She took a lot of fucking nasty punches, dude. And elbows. I mean, dude, Chasson was trying to put her head through the octagon mat, dude. She was trying to fucking kill her. And, luckily the ref got in there and stopped it when he did, because I think it was only going to get worse. So, super fucking cool, super fucking stoked. Can't wait to see this chick fight again, man. She's a badass. Now we'll move on to the main card, because that ended your preliminary card, which was on what, ESPN Plus? I think the whole card was on ESPN Plus, right?
Yep, the whole card was ESPN Plus.
Yeah, 185.5, right? Okay. Speaking of 185.5, Andrew Sanchez defeats Marc-Andre Barriault, if I'm saying that correctly, via unanimous decision. I actually thought that this was going to be a split decision. Just because of how close the rounds were. Andrew couldn't get a lot done with his wrestling, and his striking did look much improved, but dude, he was getting tagged with some sick uppercuts, bro.
Yeah, he was. There was along with the uppercuts, there was also some really nice body shots that were given, and some knees as well.
But like I said, it was a fun scrap for the 85ers. I think Andrew Sanchez needs to work on his hands a little bit more and not just rely too much on his wrestling. I mean, he had like a kind of like a karate stance going on. I think he even moved to Canada and trains with I think he might train with Zahabi. Or it's a hobby, right? But yeah, I mean, his hands did look better, but I think he needs to, develop them so that he's not so reliant on that wrestling. Now, don't get it wrong, or don't get it twisted, okay? That wrestling, it's important. It's very important. It's the most important fucking martial art that you need in this mixed martial arts fighting game, okay? I don't know where the fuck I was going with that, but yeah, I would like to see him work on his hands. I think he could be very dangerous. He's a very thick guy, and if he could, get a little bit more accurate with his strikes, he could be something else in this middleweight division. So, like I said, let's just hope he improves there. Walt Harris. Holy shit, bro.
And not just Walt Harris, Walt the Big Ticket Harris.
Man.
That's what we got to say.
Yeah, he was the big ticket, bro. He looked like a fucking world beater, dude. And he was fighting Sergey Spivak, okay? And the guy was making his UFC debut. undefeated, big motherfucker, had the reach, but he didn't have any fucking answers, bro. That was all Walt Harris all fucking night, bro.
Yep.
And this is off the heels of a USADA suspension. I hate to bring this up because it was a contaminated supplement, I believe. The USADA had just released that they had, like, you know, temporarily suspended a bunch of fighters for contaminated supplements, which I just wish this would fucking go away. I think the USADA and the UFC, they've got to do something about this issue, this contaminated supplement issue. I think the fighters could probably work a little bit harder at, you know, paying attention to what they're putting into their body. And I think the USADA could be a little bit more clear, and the UFC could kind of bridge the gap between the two, the fighters and the testing agency. So, I mean, yeah, Harris has been dealing with, like, you know, some criticism and some ridicule for that, and I believe it's unwarranted. I don't think he did anything wrong, much like JDS and all those other guys that, you know, with the contaminated supplement shit, because it's happening a lot more now. So hopefully they tighten that up. But this kind of, you know, rinses that off a little bit. It kind of washes him of that, because he comes in and just fucking starches this guy in 50 seconds, bro.
Yeah.
Holy shit, he looked fucking awesome. So, and he's talking about he wants the Big Pretty, right? That Justin Willis cat?
I think so. I think my kids wanted something, or my kid wanted something, and I probably didn't catch him at the end.
Yeah, so while we're at it, there was a call out earlier in the card that Bulhar called out Arlovsky. He said he's got a pit bull that he wants to neuter.
Oh yeah, that's right. I completely forgot about that.
Oh yeah, I'm just remembering now when I'm thinking about the call out from Harris here. But I mean, it's pretty clever talking about you want to neuter a pit bull, but at the same time, bro, you better fucking be careful what you ask for.
Fuck yeah.
Arlovsky, he may be on a 3-fight skid, but he's a bad motherfucker. Okay, he's got peaks and valleys, but still, I don't know. I mean, I get call outs, right? And I get that you want to fight like the best dudes out there, but at heavyweight, bro, I would be calling out Conor McGregor. I'll tell you what, I want to fight the littlest guy possible so that I just smush him, right? Heavyweights are fucking crazy. Anyway, yeah, so there's not really much more to say there. Harris just, you know, was devastating and gets the TKO victory. And I thought that ref could have stopped it as soon as the second knee hit and the guy fell to the floor. Right.
Yeah.
You know, ref gives Sergey every single chance he can, you know, to change his position, to fight back, to do anything, and the dude just fucking did nothing. So, yeah. So I think it may have been like the bright lights and, you know, maybe Walt Harris punching him in the face. Yeah. So let's give this guy a chance. You know, when these guys are making their UFC debuts, they're on a big fucking stage, man.
Yeah.
It must be tough. That's all I can say. I'd do it, and I'd fight anybody. But I'd probably, like, I don't know, be nervous as fuck, right?
Fuck yeah. Well, I mean, I would take it almost. I mean, I know playing in a band and fucking fighting is like two completely different things. But I mean, you both have to go out in front of, you know, big ass crowds, depending on, you know, what you're doing, and, you know, that fucking the bright lights and all the nerves and shit, they just kick in at the last second, and all that shit that you've been training and practicing, like all your time signatures from the music, all the timing for your counters, and when you're gonna take down or when you're gonna counter a jab with a overhand right or something. I don't know. That shit will just probably fly out the window because you're like, holy fuck, I'm here. And then
it's also a little bit different, you know, performing music and cage fighting, right? Because if you miss a beat while you're playing your song, it's okay. You know, 9 times out of 10, you're the only one that noticed because you wrote it, right? You miss a beat in the cage, you could be waking up staring up at the lights, man.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I do get the comparison because it is tough to perform, You know what I mean? And you always want to put on the best performance. And there's butterflies, you know, before you perform a show or before you get in a cage and fight.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, let's move on. Mirab Jalishvili?
Davalishvili. I have no idea.
Davalishvili? Let's go with that. Javalishvili.
Yep, we'll work with that.
Defeats Brad Katona. He takes his undefeated record away from him, bro. Brad Katona had no answer. He had no fucking answer. This Mirab guy is a fucking machine. Dude, like, fuck. Where the hell does he get that energy?
I don't know, but that's how he got his fucking nickname. That's why they call him a machine. Just relentless takedown after takedown and just controlling it. And yeah, there was nothing that I don't think Brad Katona could have done.
Yeah, so his shiny O has now been vanquished. He is now 9-1. So it'll be a great learning experience for Brad. You know, 9 times out of 10 when fighters taste defeat for the first time, they go back and they work on shit and they come back better from it. So I'm sure Brad will. Smart kid, man. He was also on an Ultimate Fighter. So it was tough to see that O go, but it was going to go eventually, right? So
yeah. And
you could do worse than Javalishvili. You really could. I mean, just try saying that. It's tough. Just like him. So Shane Burgos defeats another sad fight, right? Shane Burgos defeats Cub Swanson via split decision, and you had 30-27 for one, 30-27 for the other. Like, what the hell? I mean, yes, it was a close fight, but at the end, I was like, yeah, it was a close fight, but Burgos probably won that fight, right? And
yeah, that's how I had it. I had Burgos 2-1.
Yeah, so I mean, and it's tough because when punches are flying, I imagine it's hard to see what's connecting and what's not when you're cage side. You know, there's fucking those corners, they get in your way, the ref gets in the way. It's a lot different than when you're watching it on TV, right? So,
yeah. Those inside leg kicks, dude. Fuck, that did it for me.
Well, Burgos looked really good, and this is like a signature win. I mean, after you beat Cub Swanson, you only go up, dude. Cub Swanson has been a perennial contender since the WEC days, okay? He's been top 10 for probably the last 10 years. I mean, Cub Swanson is a fucking bona fide badass, and he showed that he still got it. I just think it came down to the size of Shane. Shane is huge. Huge for a featherweight, dude. And he had the reach advantage. So, it'd be interesting to see where Cub goes from here. Because he lost, and I think he was ranked number 10 going in. So, he'll fall outside of the top 10. And I've heard in recent interviews that he's not opposed to going up to 55. But, he's also got kids. He's got side businesses. So, I mean, the dude probably doesn't have to fight. I just know that he has so much fucking fun in there. So, yeah, I'm really hoping, as a fan, that he sticks around because he is very enjoyable to watch. And like I said, Burgos, you're now probably in the top 10. You're probably sitting at number 10, and you're only going to get tough fights from here out. So, yeah, fucking buckle up, buddy, because you're in for some shit. Because that 45, dude, Holloway, fucking Moicano, the Korean Zombie, that fucking, what's that Mexican kid's name? Pantera.
Yeah.
El Pantera. I don't know his name. I know his nickname. That's pretty fucked up, huh? Hey, but at least he's got that fucking fancy nickname. Because if he didn't have that nickname, I would just be like, oh, yeah, that Mexican kid. Right? Yep. But, dude, there's just some killers at 45. It's a fun division. So, yeah. He's in for a fun fight his next bout. In the co-main event, Derek Brunson takes a unanimous decision from Elias Theodoro, which was like it looked like a slow tornado, if that makes any sense. Like a really slow tornado. Like where you can see everything happening. But it's like twisted as fuck, right?
Oh, yeah. I like seeing those crazy ass takedowns. So that crazy double leg takedown
That was fucking sick.
that Brunson did, that was awesome.
And it was really nice to see,
For sure, Elias was fucking knocked out, but no, he was fucking.
or at
tough.
least a broken rib, right? Holy shit.
Yeah, something.
Something. All right. It was nice to see Derek be patient. I still think he could do a better job of tucking his chin because he kind of just. I don't think it's anything that he can help. But he definitely needs to work on it because he kind of just walks forward and his chin points right up. I mean, he was a lot more patient. He didn't run in and fucking, take any unnecessary damage. And you could see at points he was getting frustrated with the unorthodox striking style of Elias Theodorou. But it was nice to see him be patient. And, I get it. The fans in the arena, they want to see a slobber knocker, fucking KO, fucking, they just want to see like a fun fight. And sometimes it doesn't translate in the cage. But at least I can say I was thoroughly engaged. And it was good to see Derek, be a little bit more calculated. Be a little bit less straightforward.
Mm-hmm.
So, and it was nice to see him go to the decision. So we know he's got some cardio. I mean, it was a slow-paced fight, so it would be a lot different if this was somebody other than Elias that he went the distance with. But nonetheless, he gets the job done. Excuse me. So I'm pretty sure he secures his top 10 status. And I think he's now at, what is it, Hard Knocks 365? Is that the gym that he's at?
Yeah.
So I think he's probably reinvented himself, so is going to probably have to go through some rematches of some sort.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I think if he works on what you were talking about, and also capitalizing on the opportunities that are in front of him,
Well,
like if you're hitting somebody and you knock them down. I mean, yeah, you got a lot of adrenaline or whatever, or just something just doesn't click, and you don't go for it right away. But I mean, then again, I also see the other side of it as, okay, I kind of rocked him a second. Maybe if I hit him again, I'll let him stand up. Maybe I can get that knockout. Because if you do end up trying to go down, maybe you'll get put in a bad position on yourself. But I don't think he was taking advantage of the opportunities that he was creating for himself.
Well, it was okay. So if you paid attention to the Derek Brunson before this fight versus the Derek Brunson in this fight, the Derek Brunson before, if he's got you hurt, he's going balls to the wall. He's going to try and put you away. In this fight. When he had Elias hurt, he was more focused on the position rather than the finish.
Okay.
You know what I mean?
Will scratch what I said.
Well, no. And it's just, it's an observation that had you known previously, like you said, you're still new to this whole MMA thing. So you definitely get a pass. But like I said, if you pay attention to Brunson's fights before this, no, if he touches you, he's going to try to put you to sleep. And he's not going to worry about himself. You know what I mean? This time, there was a couple positions where instead of, trying to go for the sub or, trying to knock the guy out, he was more focused on the control. He was more focused on his position. And, any good coach will tell you position before submission. Always get the better position rather than worrying about finishing the fight. The finish will come, okay? And I think that Derek Brunson really showed a new niche of, just patience and being more methodical, being more technical. And nobody looks good against Elias Theodorou. Nobody looks good. That is just a fact. He makes the best people look like shit. So I think Derek's game plan was pretty damn good. I did see him get frustrated, and he would just back off and reset. So I'm glad that he at least was cognizant of what was going on. So I enjoyed the fight. because I saw a fighter that has really like a lot of raw potential, right? He's a D1 wrestler, okay? He's got fucking wins over Machida. He should have a win over Anderson Silva. I mean, the dude, he's a badass, okay? So it was very nice to see him kind of like graduate to the next level of fighter. I think that, whoever he fights next, you better fucking watch out, because Derek Brunson is now fighting with a brain instead of just with his fists. So, very scary individual, because he does have the power, and now he's using his wrestling. It's very very terrifying when you think that a guy with that kind of power is now fighting with his mind. So kudos to Brunson for getting that win. Elias came in like 17-2. So I think he was like, I don't know, 7-1 in the UFC or something like that. But yeah. So that was your co-main event. Like I said, a lot of boos, roaring throughout the arena, but I enjoyed it. I didn't have a problem with it. So, but that's just me. But a fight that absolutely nobody is complaining about is your main event between Donald Cowboy Cerrone. My dog's probably going nuts. I have a dog, a dachshund. His name is Cerrone. So anytime we're talking about Cowboy, he gets excited because he thinks we're talking to him. It's fucking adorable. And guess what? You don't like it? Fucking fight me. He defeats Al Iaquinta via unanimous decision. I didn't have Al taking a single round. Cowboy, generally gets off to a slow start, but I think, Iaquinta's game plan in here kind of just played into that and let Cerrone get away with some rounds when he could have capitalized. I mean, the way to beat Donald Cerrone is to come out guns blazing in the first round. That is the way to do it. Cerrone had a funky ass haircut. I'm not really sure what was going on with that. I was like, what is that? Is he growing a mullet? Because that would be scary. A cowboy with a mullet. Holy shit. But anyways, dude, those fucking leg kicks. This is what I'm talking about. That's a great leg kicking game.
I did see it, right? I remember. Yeah, I wrote it down. He, at one point in the fight, maybe even the whole fight, he was fucking perfect with his leg kicks. When I wrote it down, he was 13 for 13 with his fucking leg kicks. So, yeah, he was doing some fucking damage perfectly. And you can tell Al was having, some trouble standing on his lead leg, and, you would see him switch stances, and Cerrone would just kick the other leg. Like, get that shit out of here. Give me that broken arm. I'm just going to kick anything that you put in front of me, dude, so just put it out there.
Well, yeah. I mean, he kicked him to the body. He kicked him to the face. He had a freaking front face kick that almost finished the fight.
Oh, dude, that hurt.
Yeah, I bet it did. Iaquinta's tough, man. He had never been knocked down before this fight in the UFC. Never been knocked down. So, just showing pure toughness, not getting finished. And Cerrone was looking for a fucking finish. He was a man on a mission. Oh, what happened here? Hello?
Hey, I don't know what the heck just happened there, but what's up?
All right, and we will continue on. So, Cerrone was throwing kicks to the face. He was throwing kicks to the body. He was, being nasty with the leg kicks. And you can tell that he wanted the fucking finish.
Yeah, he was definitely looking for that.
So, Daddy Cerrone is now 3-0 as a dad. How you like them apples?
I like that a lot.
I think he's pushing for this. This is probably like the last title run of his career, I feel, because I don't know if it's just me, right, or if it's what the hell? What the hell was that? Was that your computer? Does it make noises?
Yeah, it's my
scared
computer.
the shit out of me. I'll tell you that much right now. I thought it was some fucking paranormal activity going on over here. I thought my fucking computers were going to start levitating and you were going to hear me scream like a little man. You thought I was going to say girl. Fucking
I was going to say a little bitch, but
oh, yeah, fight me, bro.
I just might have to next weekend.
Well, I'll take a page out of Cerrone's book and just kick that fucking leg.
As long as you make it better, I don't give a fuck.
Anyways, so Donald Cerrone calls for, whatever gets him closest to the title or Conor McGregor. And seeing as how Conor McGregor, is coming off losing his title to Khabib Nurmagomedov, I think that fight probably does a lot for him to get him to the title if he gets it. And who wouldn't want to see fucking McGregor versus Cerrone, dude?
Dude, that would be a fucking ridiculously awesome fight.
I heard McDiculous. I heard
It'd be a Nick Dickulous, a Dick Riculous. It'd be something.
Oh, wow. Now we're just getting crazy with the English language. We give no fucks here.
Well, that's what Crazy J does, baby.
Woo! Anyway, I don't care who Cerrone fights next. Although I definitely would like to see him fight Conor, because I think that would just be a fun fight. But I want to see him finish this run. I want to see if he can get to that title fight. Excuse me. And if he gets to this title fight, I want to see if he can win it. He's fighting a lot more cerebral. Being a dad really has, changed the game for Cerrone. Like, he knows what he's fighting for now. So, and he's talking about International Fight Week. So, of course, typical Cerrone, he wants to fight as soon as possible. I think the options out there are probably, I think the interim title holder, Dustin Poirier, probably fights Khabib later on in the year. So I think those two are probably out of the question, unless Poirier doesn't want to wait for Khabib. I do like the fact that, since Khabib just decided that he isn't going to fucking fight, that they put this interim title in there, which, in my opinion, that interim title should not have been an interim title. It should have been the undisputed. Because if that motherfucker wants to wait, the division needs to roll on. Now, I'm sorry, Mr. Khabib, that you don't want to fight during Ramadan, and you want to see your buddy's punishments through, and you're going to sit on the sidelines with him, because, fuck you, UFC. But that's fucking ridiculous. Like, they did him a fucking huge solid letting him keep his fucking belt and just putting up this interim. So, yeah, I think that Poirier should be the undisputed champion right now. But that's a whole fucking other discussion. It's a thing, man. So
that's a whole other thing for a whole other podcast, my friend.
It's a whole fucking thing. But, yeah, so I think Cerrone really doesn't have a whole lot of people in front of him. But I do think one guy that he might have to go through is fucking Gaethje, bro. Gaethje Cerrone. Oh, man. Gaethje's just a nightmare matchup for him, though, because of his intensity and his pace. And he can go fucking balls to the wall for 15 minutes. He can. And that type of... It's a bad stylistic matchup for Cerrone. So... Yeah. Yeah.
But, I mean, hey, that's what fucking training camps are for, and that's what you fucking train for,
Well, let me just put it to you this way. Cerrone typically likes to fight, every 4 to 8 weeks. Justin Gaethje needs a 12-week training camp. So, if that's any indication on, how much Gaethje puts into his prep, I mean... Yeah. That's why he's able to do what he does. So, anyways, that's just a scary matchup for Cerrone. So, give me the Conor route. Give me the Conor, and whoever wins that fight, I guess, fights for the title. I don't fucking know. I don't have the rankings in front of me. But I think Cerrone has put in his dues and has looked incredible since becoming a dad. And, I mean, I just want to see him do it. You know what I mean? It's like when Dustin Poirier got his interim title, when Michael Bisping got his undisputed title, and then defended it. I like seeing these fucking storylines, man. And, some of these guys are doing it without the trash talk. You know what I mean? Michael Bisping got a short notice opportunity. Yes, there was some heat between him and Rockhold, but he got the opportunity on 2 weeks and did the damn thing. Okay?
Yep.
Poirier, zero trash talk. You know what I mean? Maybe a little bit of shade thrown the UFC's way, but ultimately, gets the interim title without having to build it up. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So it'd be fucking cool to see if Cerrone can complete this storyline, and I would be thoroughly stoked if he could. So, but that's it, man. So next week, John, what we got going on next weekend?
Too much shit for us to be trying to cover, bro.
Okay, well, PFL Season 1 kicks off on May 9th. That's a Thursday, ladies and gentlemen. So we get some MMA on Thursday. One Championships, 95. LFA 66. UFC 237. And that's Namajunas versus Andrade. And then Bellator 221, Chandler versus Pitbull. Why are they doing this to me? Why?
I don't know.
Oh, this is going to be tough, dude. We're going to have to do the same thing. We're going to have both TVs going.
Well, you know us at HeadKick Audio, we're always up for the fucking challenge.
Yes, sir.
Bring it.
I don't miss Chandler fights. I don't give a fuck who you are. I don't miss Michael Chandler fights. I really enjoy that dude. So, and he's fighting the smaller Pitbull, and his belt is on the line, but the little Pitbull's belt is not. So, yeah, I guess that's it for episode 5. Like I said, stick around for the Harvey Park interview. Check us out on Facebook, on Twitter, on Instagram, at HeadKick Audio, or HKA_AZ. And then, we'll be setting up a Patreon where Harvey Park is going to be the first little fucking deal. So when you get on whatever tier it is, when we get it up on the site, you'll get some Patreon-only stuff. So, and, subscribe and donate if you can. Or not donate, but what is it? What is it called?
Show your love and support, and make a subscription to us, and we'll give you guys the best content that we possibly can.
But yeah, we're talking about some side materials, possibly a second podcast where nothing is off the table. There are no restrictions, so we can talk about porn. We can talk about bull riding. Why the fuck did I just? Those are my first two things that we're going to talk about: is bull riding and porn.
Well, I know that would be a very interesting topic.
Anyways, so yeah, we're going to try and get as much content for you as possible. So yeah, check us out: Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, Patreon. Here on the show, and enjoy that fucking Harvey Park interview, and we'll catch you next week.
Peace.
Later.
Kick Audio.
We're on with Harvey Park, LFA Lightweight champ. How you doing, man?
I'm doing real good, man. How are you guys?
Oh, we're good. We're excited to have you on the show, man.
I appreciate the invitation.
Hey, man, a lot of hard work to get where you got, so congratulations. Props to you, man.
Thank you.
All right, so my first question for you is, what do you think has been the staple of your success?
Just hard work. I don't know, you mean in the cage or out of the cage? Because out of the cage is just work. What I'm good at is I don't miss. I come every day. I do my road work. I don't need lots of supervision. I do my own. I've done my own diet. Through trial and error, I've figured out what's good for me to eat, what's a good amount of work in, how much workouts to do, So I think that the staple of my career out of the ring is just hard work and consistency.
All right, and you said you're in charge of your own diet?
Yeah, I think I would put most fighters are, unless you're making a lot of money and can pay a dietitian, you're going to have to, know what to eat yourself. And I've been doing it a long time, so I've learned, what's a good diet for a fighter, what works for me through trial and error. And, just there's so much information out there. I think that anyone who's, having trouble with that is, kind of doing themselves a disservice, because it's not hard to figure out, and there's not a secret to it. There's lots of articles and literature on what you should be doing, what you should be eating, and what works.
Okay, well, that kind of ties into my second question for you. You're a decent sized lightweight. Okay, you're big for the weight class. Have you ever considered a move to welterweight?
Only in the middle of the winter, right when I'm cutting the water out. But not really anything serious, because I make the weight. I even though it's not a difficult cut. It is hard, but I make it, and I haven't ever missed weight. If I was having trouble making it, I might consider it, but since I make the weight and I really don't have too much trouble making it, I think that I haven't ever really given it too much thought.
Okay, well, damn. I mean, like I said, you're pretty decent sized lightweight, so I was just curious.
Yeah, like I said, the only time I ever thought about it is when I'm sitting in that sauna. Man, I should try to 170.
All right, so my last question for you before I turn it over to my co-host is, if you do get signed to the UFC, because we know that the LFA or Legacy and RFA, before they had the merger, they were kind of like a launching ground for fighters to get into the UFC. Now, would you prefer like the tough route? Would you prefer Dana White's Contender Series? Or would you prefer like a short notice fight, or would you rather have like a full training camp with an opponent known weeks if not months before your debut?
Yeah. I think that one's simple. Like I would rather have the full camp, sign a multi-fight contract and have a full camp. But I feel like that's the most advantageous to me. It gives me what I need. I'd take a short notice fight if we had to, because we want to get our foot in the door. And then if tough was an option and we made it on that, we'd do that. But I think the best route is if you got a contract, 3 fights, and you knew what you're making. You had a full camp to prepare, full camp to practice scouting report, and you practice your techniques. I think that would be the best option and best scenario. But at this point, we kind of are at the mercy. We'd take that, or we'd take Contender Series if they wanted that. Because we're confident, so if we get Contender Series, we're confident we'll put on a show and we'll get signed.
Well, I love the confidence, man. I'm gonna go ahead and turn you over to the co-host, okay? Jonathan, What you got for Harvey Park, man?
Hey, how's it going, man? Crazy J here. How's it going?
Good, man. How are you?
Doing fantastic. My first question I got for you is, you have 7 TKOs and 4 submissions. Do you prefer to stand and bang, or take it to the ground and get the submission?
I've always said, I'm a GSP character, art of war kind of guy. Beat guys at their weakness. If they're weak at on the ground, we'll take them there, and if they're a weak striker, we'll go on the ground. We'll keep it standing. But just recently, most of my fights have we end up standing, and I've been winning it, and even do guys that are probably better strikers than grapplers, we've been standing with them and beating them. So, I don't know. I like to think that I could do either, and I like both. I like grappling and striking. But what's good about striking is everybody likes that, and it really speaks to casual fans. So I don't know, maybe striking more than grappling.
Awesome. Well, yeah, I like the wrestling and stuff like that, so I like seeing guys work for their submissions and stuff, but I also like watching the knockouts too, so hey, it's all good.
Yeah.
Sorry. My second question I got for you is, how difficult is it to balance your fighting career versus your law enforcement career?
I get that a lot, and it's not that hard. I wish if I didn't have a career in law enforcement, I'd probably be doing morning and night practice, but I got my job, so I usually just cram it all into one, and I I work 4 days out of the 7, so four of those days I'm really getting one big hard crazy workout in, and another 2 days out of the week I'll get 2 days in. But it's just time management and being efficient with your time. And I'm not the kind of guy that wants to lay on the couch, all day and watch movies and stuff. So it works good for me because I'm kind of a busybody anyway. So it keeps me busy, and that's what I like.
Oh, okay. Now, my last question I got for you. Congratulations on becoming champ, by the way. Do you think that since becoming LFA champion, do you think the UFC is going to take a closer look at you more now?
I do. I think just having that accolade is big, and I think the UFC does notice the LFA champions. I mean, I remember I fought a year ago in Vail, and I think his name's Heinrich. Ian Heinrich won the belt, and I remember he was signed in a couple months, and then Howard obviously won the belt, and then they signed him. So I'm hoping that's kind of the precedence they're making, is they're going to sign the LFA champs. So I do think it helps.
Awesome. Yeah, I think it does too. I mean, you got the gold around your way, so it's like they have to look at you.
Yeah, and LFA is the best. It's probably the biggest feeder promotion, and it's got the best talent. So I think it matters, and also like the production. They see how you are, on camera. It's got the production is really high, so I think even that helps to kind of showcase your personality and things like that. Yeah, guys, I appreciate it. Thanks for the interview, and just keep your fingers crossed for me.
Yeah, absolutely. And before I let you go, do you have any sponsors or anybody you want to give a shout out?
Big shout out. I got Warrior CBD and SCS. Those are my two big sponsors. They haven't missed a fight. And then I really want to say thanks to my gym, Force One in Clovis, New Mexico, and then Jackson, Zakama, and Albuquerque. A big thanks to Nick Urso, Ricky Steady, my manager, Eric Swan, my head coach, Brian Tualis, Seth Eifert, and Jose Lopez. Those are all coaches. You know how MMA goes. You got a coach for every single discipline.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Well, they all deserve a big pat on the back because they're definitely taking your career to the next level. So, again, thank you for your time. Hopefully we can, catch you on your next fight. I'd love to do this again. You've been an awesome guest. And like I said, just good luck to you in the future, man.
All right, man. Thank you, guys. Have a good one.
Hey, you too.
Hey, thank you.